You're listening to the Media Man Dan Podcast, promoting people with passion all over the globe. This is your host, Media Man Dan. Let's rock!
What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Media Man Dan Podcast. Today, I have an amazing guest, and I've said that many times before, but in this case, I ran into a guest because they reached out to me after hearing my show, and they're going to give me a shot to hear their story and their personality. And that wonderful gentleman is named Mark Winters. Straight out of Texas, we have a folk rock singer. We have a man who is so obsessed with nerd culture and science and math and physics, and he places all of that love, along with his wife, into his music that you guys can live through if you listen to it. And so I think if you guys haven't already, check out the links before you even get into the episode. Just go down there right now, check out the playlist. I want you to listen to everything he's ever made. That's it. That's all you got to do. It's a simple and easy task. It takes 4.5 hours. I should know I did it. And after you finish that, you can appreciate this man even more for his talent. But now you get to hear his personality. Welcome to the podcast, Mr. Winters. I'm going to call you Mark just because I want to be your friend, but you are an absolute tremendous person and a tremendous artist, and I really appreciate you for being here today.
Howdy, Media Man Dan. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here. I'm out on the Good Vibes Highway Tour and super excited to share my story and a little bit of positive energy to your listeners, man.
Yes, sir. That's the one thing I was supposed to say in the intro that I forgot to say. He has so much optimism. He makes me feel like I should be taking notes. Like, that is an incredible thing. I always promote people, and all I keep thinking is, Mark does it better. And you know what? He should. He should, because he has so much more experience. He has so much more time on the road. And you have this whole, journey that you've been through that you're going to share with us today. So, Mark, my first question, an easy one. How's the tour going, man?
Oh my goodness. You know, I am so excited to be out here, Dan. It's like I started touring last year as my first time to be on any kind of tour. I did a spring and a fall, and it was so amazing. I grew so much. I learned so much. I met so many amazing people out in the musical world on my tour. I can't tell you how excited and how grateful I am that I was out and everyone welcomed me to so many cool places. I saw a ton of the west of the United States. I went west in the spring and north into Canada, and then I did the same thing in the fall. And this year I'm following the same playbook. I'm out on the spring side of the Good Vibes Highway Tour, and I'm about 4 weeks in and having a great time, meeting so many cool people. It's just, I get so lit up every night being able to share my stories and my music and a space, create this sense of community in all these amazing cities that I get to visit. It's a blessing. I'm very excited and I'm fired up, man. I still have another 8 weeks on the road, and it's amazing.
I love to hear this, and I can't wait to see you whenever you come back to the Midwest. That'll be whatever part of the tour that'll be in the future, because you got the energy down. I'm guessing that live you sound amazing as well. Like you said, you wanted to capture that on one of your albums, and we will discuss your whole discography because that's what I do. But I want to make sure that everybody understands that because you said you never tour before last year, and that you've already had this routine, and that your tickets are already professionally seen on your main account, no matter where you listen to music, you got something amazing, man. It's something that's going perfectly for you right now. And I really hope that it just keeps getting better at this point. I hope that other artists in that subgenre or genre find you and bring you on bigger tours and just spread the love across the nation and across the world eventually, have an international experience as well. You got fans all over the place, 50,000 of them on Spotify. And I'm just like, wow, that is an incredible feat in itself, my friend.
Yeah, that's insane. Yeah, and because I started music, you know, uh, I didn't do anything until 2011. I picked up a guitar to sing a song for my wife, and just fell in love with music at that moment, and started teaching myself. So my journey is, what I guess maybe 13 years old or something like that now. I'm still a teenager, man. I'm still learning. I'm still doing my thing, and so I haven't met as many people, and so I'm just super excited, that lots of these venues are open to having newer artists like me, out performing shows. And and you're right. It's yeah, so, to a degree, I guess, the aerospace engineer in me helps some with the musical journey, because I can kind of figure stuff out. I can figure technology out. I can figure how to, do all the routing and connect my ticket links to my website. And so, yeah, all that stuff is my aerospace engineering side helps with. Um, the artist in me is younger, still a teenager, and so that part of the journey is something that's just a wonder to be a part of. How many things do you get to do? Do you get to start like from scratch when you're an adult, and then learn to do the thing and learn all the joys of it and all the heartache that goes with it?
Yep.
As an adult, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, well, what I could take in is, as I'm not even at the level yet, I also feel like a teenager. Like, I don't think it goes away. I think something about me and you, we have the same like just optimism, where it's just like, oh, trust me, this is only the beginning, my friends. Like, I have so much more to look forward to, and I will look forward to in the future. But my thing is, I've learned every little aspect of what I've done work wise when it comes to like schoolwork or my jobs that I've had in the past, built me into the way that I do things creatively. Like, it runs on the same side of the brain, where I'm just like always creative energy, and I categorize it the same way that you set up a tour. I'm setting up interviews, or I'm pre-planning what video comes out, or when I can edit, or when I can see a family member, and it just all goes in the same motion. It's just all in the rhythm, if you will. And I think
Hey,
that
I see what you did there, Dan.
and so I think that that's something that really, helps us as creatives, and us as like, focusing on our main goal, but also like having little bits that other people might have missed. We have attention to detail. My whole thing is ADHD, but when you give me something that you're like, Dan, tell me about this, I can be like for hours on end about that. But then you'll be like, Dan, what'd you eat yesterday? I don't know. Wasn't as
Uh,
important, prioritizing. But at the same time, I think, your creative energy, your professional experience as an aerospace engineer, you're going to have leaps and bounds over a lot of people that are struggling to just get that start in. And like, they need people on Fiverr to explain, the simple technology. But you're just like, ooh, a new challenge. I love it. Let's overcome that. And then let's see how it works. And like you said, it turned out so that you can have all your links on the page, and you can have your bio look a little bit more flashy than others. And I'm just like, this is professional. I love it.
yeah, well, thank you so much for that. I think the journey for me, you know, as I unlock my music, it's the first place I've been, where I get to use the creative side of my mind and the logical side of my mind at the same time. And I think I'm really feeling like in balance. I don't know if what I'm saying. You seem like you have a similar,
Mm-hmm.
similar vibe, Dan. Like, you know, like when you're surfing, you pop up, and then you find your moment of really being, you know, in the moment on the wave. You're in the curl, you've got your balance, you're feeling good, like you're really
Full control.
doing it right.
Yeah.
That's the spot I'm in now, where I'm feeling like I've got both my creative and logic minds sort of working together,
And you're in music, so you're getting into the groove. That's it. You're
yeah.
into the groove right now.
Yeah, I'm feeling like it for sure, man. Yeah, it's a great place.
Of course it is. So there's one aspect that we talked about in the pre-chat that I want to know. How did you meet your wife?
Yeah, so my wife, she was actually on the way to California. She's a nurse, and She was she had gotten a job at the Life Flight program. She's like a trauma nurse. She loves to, be in the high action zone, and she was going to go work for the Life Flight program, the program that the helicopters go and rescue patients on,
Wow.
right? So she was on the way to California to do that, and I asked her out on a date, and she wasn't thinking about me like dating material. She was thinking about going to California, right? And so um, she ended up saying, okay, fine. We ended up deciding to go to a movie, and we talk about the divine intervention. It's like, okay, I'm getting ready that day to go to the movies with her, and I went to the gym and I went to work out, and then I come back out to my car, and my car won't start. I'm like, okay, that's weird. And so I have a friend who I had him come over and try to jumpstart my car. That wasn't working. And so, long story short, I ended up having to borrow my friend's wife's car to drive to the movie theater. And I couldn't get a hold of my wife. I was, texting her and whatever, and her phone was off because she wasn't working. And so here I am driving like a madman to get to the movie theater. We're supposed to meet there at 7. So I show up at 7:15. I'm pulling in the movie theater, and she's leaving because she thought I stood her up.
Yeah.
And it's a giant movie theater with like 15 entrances and exits, and we just happen to be going past each other. And I'm in my friend's wife's car, and so I'm honking at her. And she's like, who is this idiot honking at me? Right in the parking lot. And then she sees it's me. And I'm still in my workout gear. I have my just workout shorts on and my tank top, right? And I'm like, okay, you're never going to believe this, but my car wouldn't start and blah, blah, blah. She's like, okay, fine. We'll go see the movie. So we saw the movie, and ended up after the movie going to Denny's, and we stayed up until 2 o'clock in the morning, just talking all night. It was just a mystical connection, And so the next day she calls her mom up. She's like, Mom, I'm on the way to California. Hello. And then I just met this guy. What do I do? And her mom's like, California will always be there. You're going to wonder if you leave, right? If this wasn't the relationship for you. And so we've been together ever since, and it's amazing. And Dan, she had to go through this transformation for me. She had to watch me change from the nerdy engineer, business guy to okay, here's the artist, and so she's such an amazing woman. She supports me every way she can. And I'm just blessed to have her. And when opportunities started opening up for me, like tours and bigger performances, she's like, "Man, you gotta lean into that and just chase the dream. We got to figure out how to make it work with the two of us, right?" And so she's just been amazing. And yeah, yeah,
What a story, man.
yeah,
So not only does she like save lives for the job, but like she obviously is a light in your life, like she is what drives you besides the actual, science, math, music. You're just like, I need somebody that's always going to be there for me and, support what I'm doing. And like you said, she gives you 110%. That's exactly how my fiance does it as well. We met 15 years ago, in this summer. Crazy how things are all timed out. But I had many moments where I was at my lowest moment, and she would see through that and help me get back to my best moment. There were times where I was like, here's a bad idea, and I proposed it out, and she'd be like, no, don't do that. And I'd be like, oh, thank God. I probably shouldn't have gone through with that anyway. Like my whole rap thing I talked about in the pre-chat, that went down south. And I was like, you know what? It's good because I didn't have respect for country music. After a couple of years with her, I started loving country music. Our first ever concert besides Eminem, because I'm obsessed, was country music as well. And I was just like, this is what live music should be always. Like, this is it. But every step that I've made throughout my work journey, throughout my creative journey as a YouTuber, a podcaster, she's always had my back, and she's always saying the nicest things to lift me up, especially in the hardest times. And we struggle as people. We're not perfect. As optimists, we pretend that nothing bothers us sometimes, we're very honest, but at the same time, we're just like, hey, you know what? That day 3 days ago was way worse than today. This is gonna be fine. Like you're in your mind, you're just like, I'm in denial and I like it here. Like, it just feels that way. And so our loved ones, especially wife to be for me and wife for you, they can see through that, and they know how to read and help our psyche get to the best moment. And we skip to that part where it's like, you don't have to worry about the car breaking down. You don't have to worry about the little missteps that you had over text, or what misunderstandings there were, because you get to that final part where you sit down at Denny's and you talk for until 2 a.m. You have that triumphant, like, this is the person for me moment so many times when you're with your soulmate. And that's what I love talking about love for, is like, when you find that person and you have that connection, there's nothing like it. Like, people talk about, like, how do you know they're the right one? I'm like, listen, first of all, nobody, I repeat, nobody will watch Power Rangers with me. She has made it through 5 episodes.
That is awesome. Yeah. That is
Little things.
amazing. Yeah. Yeah. It's the little things for sure. As a matter of fact, I noticed, my wife and I, uh, we have, I mean, we take care of the big things, anniversaries, birthdays, whatever, but we have all these little things that we do for each other, like you're talking about, like watching Power Rangers. And for me, like, okay, you know, I make coffee in the morning. I make her coffee too. I know how she likes it. Like, I like to bring her coffee in bed, and she's got there her sleepy little smile,
Yes.
oh, my coffee, and so we have all these little things that we do for each other. And I think a lot of times that's the glue in the relationship, right? That keeps everybody sort of together all the time. As a matter of fact, I wrote a song called Find My Love, and it's about those little things that we do for each other, and how important they are.
Yeah. And is that on the new album, or is that something that's already been released?
It's on the Acoustic Me album, Find My
There we go.
Love.
I should have
Yep.
known.
Yep. And yeah, it's a song, a little spoken word poem that I converted into this, part of the bridge of the song. And it's an actual conversation that my wife and I had. So yeah, it's a fun song for sure.
For sure, absolutely. By the way, you have a vocalist that is with you on that. I don't know how to pronounce her name, but when we talk about this acoustic EP LP, I call it an LP still. It's more than 5 tracks, so I consider it an LP. I think this is the sound that I always want to introduce people to. Like, if I were to be like, hey guys, check out Mark Winters, I don't want them to start on track one. I started on track one and I was just like, okay, kind of cool. Second album, I was like, all right, a little interesting. My fiance started listening. She's like, what is this? I'm like, don't worry, it's great. It's just, you just have to believe, because there are 50,000 people that love this and I am not able to get into it. And then the acoustic one hit me and I was like, this is why they love him. This is it. This is the soul of everything. This is what is, the art that is made by you. This is your whole bread and butter. And like you said, you're capturing that live experience and you're giving it to other people. So Roxy is your, I guess you could say, duet partner.
Yeah, so Roxy, if you're going to say it
Roxy.
properly,
I knew it was
Roxy.
going to be Rose.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Roxy
We
Rose.
met. We have the same vocal instructor, and I was looking for somebody to do some duo work with and sing harmonies with, and she was too. And so we had some coffee and hung out for a while, and decided that we, liked each other, and started, doing some shows together. And I really loved the way she, you know, just how she chose to do harmonies. She's got an amazing voice. I mean, it's just, if you ever hear her live, it's like Lady Gaga and Adele had a baby. That's her voice live. It's just phenomenal. And she's so accurate and has such great control. So we started hanging out and, just, supporting each other. And I asked her to do all the harmonies, for my album, the Acoustic Me album. And so you'll hear her voice on most of all of those tracks. And then I really wanted to help her write music as well. She had never written songs. And so, we wrote a song together for her, called Nothing Lasts Forever. And you'll find that on the vinyl version of Acoustic Me. You won't find it on my Acoustic Me album online,
Oh,
but you can find it also on her channel and on her Spotify. But yeah, she's awesome. And I have another guy that's local to Houston as well. He and I started doing a lot of work together around town. He's an amazing guitar player and also a producer. And he's the guy Michael Shanks, who produced that Acoustic Me album. And yeah, and then at the same time, all that was happening. I went to Austin for a songwriting retreat to learn about music. I had never gone to any formal education on songwriting. And Andrea Stolpe is an amazing uh, teacher and writer herself. And I learned to co-write. And so coming off of that, I was co-writing with Roxy. I co-write some songs with anybody, all my friends. So I started getting on this kick of co-writing, and that really, I think, helped me myself just write more interesting songs. And so Acoustic Me was sort of the beginning of that co-writing time, and everything I've released since then has been informed or affected, or it has been a co-write, in some way or another. So
I love it though, like because we have your solo work, which is the first three albums. It's all you. Your passion is throughout it. Of course, your poetic version of music. At times where I was like really trying to figure out what your voice was. I was like, so it reminds me of "You Don't Love Me Anymore" by Weird Al, like that specific tone. But then at the same time, I was like, I hope this doesn't offend him. But it's like if Jimmy didn't have a lisp in South Park and had music, like that's how I feel. Like you sing with this really like bright and almost nasal voice, and I'm always
okay.
like, who is that he sounds like? I always have a comparison in my mind, and it took me so long to figure it out. I was like, okay, yeah, it is Weird Al. That's where I'm picking it up from. And I was like, it's a softer version of Weird Al because you hear many different versions of his voice, and obviously he plays around with it. But that one, "You Don't Love Me Anymore," has this like really calm version of him, and I'm like, that kind of fits your vibe too. So would you ever cover that song by Weird Al?
I don't know that I've heard that song from
You've
Weird
never heard it?
Al.
Okay, it's a really
No.
ridiculous
Yeah.
song.
Yeah. And I don't think I have any humorous songs. I think of Weird Al as sort of a satirist,
It does
right?
fit in that. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
about
and
a
so
crazy girlfriend and accepting that they're in love.
I'm not satirical. So I'm nerdy, and I'm all about sort of, you know, encouragement and self-improvement and a lot of other things, but I'm not satirical.
Mhm.
The closest I get to that is I have a song I wrote called "What Does It Mean to Be Human?" It's a newer song of
Yep.
mine, and it's about the AI revolution and how cool it is to my science brain, but also how scary it is. If AI is doing everything, what do we do? What do us humans do, right?
Hmm.
And so there's some sarcasm in that song. Maybe the last line of each verse has a little bit of sarcasm in it. But yeah, for me, like words, I mean, this, you're a poet, words matter to me. And so I can't sing a song. I can't cover a song that I don't agree with the lyrics. I can't write a
God,
song, right? And so I have to vibe with whatever it is I'm doing.
that makes sense. Yeah, Free Fallin', your choice
Yeah.
of your first cover, was great. And then we got to Let It Be, and I was like, oh, I like this. It was different. I was like expecting it to be in the same key and style as the Beatles, and instead she starts it, and then you sing, and you're in like a lower range, and I was like singing loud and high as I could, and I was like, dang, I want to harmonize with him. Like this is so cool. I love how this is structured. It's so different, and it's unique to you. That's the thing, is like your music is very unique. I think a lot of people would agree that love your music, that you can't really find many people that are as simplistic but also as complex as some things that you write. You have some very good poetic like choices of words. As you said, you think words matter, which is a great thing. But like your choices are so complex for me. It takes me 3 listens to understand what the heck you're saying on some of these songs, and that's okay because my little ADHD brain has moments where it's like, I think I got part of that. Let's go back and listen again, and that helps your streaming numbers.
Well, that's not intentional.
Not intentional.
I'm hoping to articulate well what I'm singing, but I'm on a journey for that too, right? I didn't sing a note of anything other than "Happy Birthday" until I picked up, the guitar in 2011. So I've been on a journey to learn in that aspect as well.
Yes, yes. And picking up the guitar to impress your wife, which is a beautiful romantic gesture. What song did you end up singing for her?
Yeah, I sang a song called "What You Give" by a band called Tesla,
Okay.
and it's a song about, it's not the life that you talk about, it's the life that you live, right? It's what you give to your partner that's the most important thing. And to me, that's a very real emotion. And so I could vibe with that one and sing that one to her.
I love it. I love it. And like you said, it's something you agree with. You have this philosophical kind of mindset where it's like, what is the meaning of life? What is the purpose of everything? And I think that my favorite track off of your new stuff, personally for me, is Fake Gravity. I've always found it interesting. Like you said, you're a little bit of a rebel. And I said that's like a philosophy kind of thing. But I've always tried to convince people that I can fully agree with something that makes no sense. That's that like I don't want to go into flat earth or anything like that, but I like to make people think about stuff because having that outside the box point of view, even if you don't agree with it, even if you just like give it like a hint, like you ever think about the moon just being a light? Like, maybe it just yeah, maybe it is a planet or maybe it is a moon, but maybe it's just a light. Yeah, I don't know. that just creates that little curiosity, and then people can go and make conspiracy theories from there. But it's like for me, I always find it interesting to question what has already been seen as what we have to accept. And this one is obviously, in my perspective, how I was listening is a kind of religious understanding of like if God exists, then there can't be gravity because gravity was God. And I don't know if I misinterpreted it, but that's how what I was gathering is that like science can exist, of course, but having the belief in God makes some things more about God than actual scientific meaning.
Yeah, that's an interesting interpretation. The song, the origins of the song are, um, you know, this sense of attraction that we have for other people, and you could call it the love that we have for other people, and how it has a feeling in it that is almost uh, like vertigo, or like gravity itself. You get this. I know when I met my wife, it's like, okay, you're feeling this sense of attraction, and it makes you a bit unsteady, and you can feel almost a physical tug, right, that is pulling you towards this person. And it feels to me like, okay, well, you know uh, the forces of attraction are stronger than physics. And so the science mind of me is like, okay, well, you know, uh, I'm, I'm, the song opens up, I'm standing on a cliff looking down at the ocean's break. I feel a new weight pulling down, right? And so I'm feeling this pull, right? And your love, your attraction, is stronger than gravity. And so, it's so gravity must be fake, right? Because this is real. And so it's a bit of a play. I wrote it with my wife. I told her I was going to write a nerdy little love song with all these nerdy little words, and I put as many science words as I could put in it, and still keep it sort of, grooving. And so that's a bit of the origin. So I can see that. I can see it's about love, and how love is stronger than physics.
God, it might be just because of the vibe of it, where I felt it was more of like a Christian contemporary track. And so
Okay.
in my brain, I was like brainwashed into the thinking, this is about God. It's all about God. Like it's that exact key formation that reminds me of Michael W. Smith. It's like, it just sticks in your head forever. But for the lyrics, I was like taking it in as not a human relationship, but as a spiritual relationship. And so that's where
That's
I think
cool.
I gathered that conclusion. But even if I'm wrong, I'm okay with that. Like I said,
That's
being an outsider is great.
you know what? There's spirituality is a part of every relationship, I think. And so I can see that, man, for sure.
Awesome, awesome. Personally, one of my favorite songs is on your second album, and that is Heartbeat. I think Heartbeat is the rockiest song that you have. Um,
Yeah.
and it's cool. It's like it's different. Like you come from Boundary Layer, which you have a acoustic version of. Or no, not an acoustic version of. What you did? Oh, radio edit. Sorry,
Yeah.
radio
Yeah.
edit
The
of it.
radio. Yeah.
But Heartbeat, whole different vibe. I was like, "Ooh, where is this Mark Winters? Like, how do I get more of this guy?
Uh,
Because I want to
you,
hear him rocking out."
Yeah, there's when I was when I was putting my first set of music out, I hadn't done anything. So I'm like, my very first album, Slipstream, was very exploratory. Like, okay, I'm trying some rock, I'm trying some, more acousticy, vibey stuff, right? And so I was sort of all over the place in my first album. I think I had three different genres I was writing against, or producing against. And, you know, as I as I went to my second album, I reduced it to two lanes, and that was one of them, right? That was kind of the blues rock vibe. It's actually about, the song is about, you know, pushing yourself. Like in athletics, I'm like super competitive and intense. And so like to me, it was like the feeling I got when I was, running Spartan miles or, rollerblading at high speeds or, doing something athletic that required super intensity. And so the vibe for that, and then I sang it down on purpose. I sang it down. I'm walking on the fire, right? So I sang it down, like
Yeah.
way down in the lower register, right? Which was a lot of fun to do as well. It's really interesting. Like if I play that song live, Dan, if I sing it down, it's that those tones down don't cut through live mixes. And so you really have to, uh, you have to quiet everything because that lower register, that, if you're on a piano, if you're on the guitar or the piano, right, you're whatever it is, the A2 or something like that. When you're singing low like that, those bass notes, they just don't cut. And so I've seen it live, I bump it up like from
Oh,
an A, I bump it up to a D. So I
okay.
bring it quite a bit up so that people can hear it because you just you can't hear anything over the instrumentation otherwise.
That's fascinating. So, is it
Yeah.
because the decibel levels of the instruments themselves are just too high that it doesn't match the frequency?
Like you know, there's a cutout for different instrument. So if you went in your sound class and you looked at, okay, here's the frequency spectrum analysis, and you're like, okay, we'll use use a guitar as an example, right? And so when you're playing on that fat string on the guitar, that E string, right? If you go all the way up to like a C on that string, C and below, you're kind of in this bass zone. So the bass guitar, the keyboard bass players, the kick drum, you got all these instruments living down in there, right? And
Yeah.
that's their space, right? And then you've got kind of the melodic instruments like the piano or the guitar or something like that, kind of living in the middle, right, in those mid areas. And then you've got some space for the voice in the mids and then upper mids. And so most of the time, why bands will pick a tenor singer if they're in a louder band is because the tenor frequencies live in a space that aren't being taken up normally by the guitar or the piano or the bass right? And they're not way up high like like the super high zone where where the ride cymbals might live or other things. And so there's a space, like call it like a scoop, a vocal scoop, right? And so when you're singing, if you're a bass singer, your voice lives where all these other instruments are living. And so what's the kick drum supposed to do? I
There's
mean,
nothing that stands out.
you can't scoop the kick drum out because you need to hear the kick drum.
Oh my
Right?
gosh, that's right. Yeah, that would be impossible with instruments.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So when you're doing something live, then you typically have to be mindful of the key you're singing in and what other instruments live in that space. And
Brilliant.
so,
By the way,
yeah,
you made a sound food pyramid. Talking about the frequency of sound, the lower level,
stacking up.
the middle
Yeah, yeah.
level, the upper level, and then the
Exactly.
top level. That is
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah, yeah. It's like when I sing with Roxanne, she is a mezzo soprano, and she's got a great opera voice too. So when she wants to belt, she doesn't need a microphone. As a matter of fact, if you're standing on stage with her and you're singing, you're not going to hear yourself unless you're using your in-ear monitors because she's so loud,
I always
right?
wondered
Because
if people that can sing that loud can cure deafness. Like there's got to be some kind of thing that just turns on because it's just so incredibly loud that you can't possibly not hear
yeah.
it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
That's a
I
powerful voice,
think,
though.
for me, we had to learn early how to balance. Like if we get one floor wedge to sing between the two of us, I can't even hear my guitar. If I'm playing my guitar and she's
Yeah,
singing next to me, I can't even hear my guitar.
you
Right?
got to have like
So
an entire sound wall.
yeah, I use in-ear monitors. That's how we solved it. I just have
That's
in-ears and I'm good to go.
brilliant, brilliant. Yeah, I bet in the old days, when you had that experience with especially opera singers, it was, try to outdo the other. And then, of course,
Yeah,
that would, hurt vocals in the long run. As we all know, you don't sing with your throat. Never,
yeah,
never push yourself too hard. But your
yeah.
voice is very calming. How did you find your voice?
I started working with a vocal coach, Wes Landry. He's based in Houston. He's an opera singer. He's got a master's in vocal performance. And in the beginning, like everybody else, I was just singing, just sing the thing and try to figure out your voice on your own. Uh, it's probably the hardest journey I've had to go through in music. I went to, if you can go on YouTube and learn to play the guitar and piano, and for the most part, I think you can learn because when you push your key on the keyboard or the piano, it's going to be a C or a D or whatever you're playing, and it's going to be the same as the person that you're watching the video for. But then when you go to sing, your voice, there's no button A. You push this button to get the C note. No, you have to hear it, and you have to understand how that's going to come out of your mouth and understand how to control the pitch in a way. And so there's a very intuitive elements to singing that have like no bearing on any other instrument, in my opinion. And so I've had I learned I started working with a coach and learning a lot. Um, and then now that I've had 2 or 3 years worth of education with Wes, I have vocalists that I watch. Like I'll watch a lot of YouTube videos, live performance videos for other vocalists to see how they're articulating, notes, and as they move around in their range, how do they do that? And so I'm still finding my voice, Dan. I've found for me like you know uh my my range is I can get really low like that, the song, Heartbeat,
Mhm.
where I'm singing, I can sing, down to the open E string on my guitar, which is a very low note. And then I can sing, upwards, around, a B4 or something like that. So I can sing up high before I have to go to my falsetto as well. But learning to control your voice across that kind of a range is really hard. Each little each little area you have to learn to control. And so Wes has helped me, sort of, we started in the middle and we've been working our way down and up to help me, better have better control, breath control and all that kind of stuff. So
Does he
yeah, I'm
make
still in the journey.
baritone?
I'm a I'm not sure. I'm a Wes would tell you I'm a baritone with a tenor extension
Okay,
and a bass extension. So I can sing low and high.
you're the
Uh,
ultimate pop star. Congratulations.
no, I can't like there's a C5. That's the tenor pop singer. That's their kill the money note. I
Oh,
can't
okay.
I can't quite make it to there. I can make it like every now like your voice works differently every day. Like in most days I can hit an A4 underneath that C5 really well. And then some days I can hit the B, which is two half semitones up from that. But I've never been able until if I go to my falsetto, of course, I can hit
Yeah.
that C5. So not quite the ultimate pop guy. So
Work in
yeah,
progress, man. You
yeah,
said you're a
working it.
teenager still, so you're
Yeah,
getting through puberty. You're shooting into the right
yes,
range. This is like that peak moment where you're like, I think I'm finding myself, and then you still
yeah,
got like 10 more years. And by the time 10
yes,
years hits, you'll be like maybe 25. And your voice range will be like, I'm ready. I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna hit that C5, which I did not know was called that. That is insane. One of my favorite moves in Battleship, right there. Just
ha,
kidding.
ha. You know it, man.
But yeah, I think that that your voice instructor is very very helpful for you. What artists did he recommend you listen to really play around with it?
Um, we've worked on a variety of different uh, artists. So, like for a minute, like I would sing some John Legend songs, which have a lot of great melodic movement. He sings up high, and so for the higher stuff, so like when I'm singing a song, I'll sing like I love the song all of me. It's a great John Legend song,
Oh yeah,
uh, and I'll bring it all the way down, and I'll sing it as a bass, and then I'll go up to semitones, and I'll sing it. So I'll sing it across my whole range, right, to feel that melody moving across from those low notes all the way up, into the super high notes. And so I was doing some John Legend, I was doing some Freddie Mercury. Um, I was doing, some Bob Dylan. So just a whole variety of different voice types, right? Just to kind of learn Chris Cornell, which I love his voice. So some Chris Cornell songs. Um, so I'm kind of learning, what people do. I don't know if you saw Justin Bieber's live performance
not yet, not yet.
on the Grammys. Oh my goodness. Yeah, he did this song called Yukon. He did it as a live loop. He did it himself,
Uh-huh.
just him and his purple guitar, and just a phenomenal vocal performance. So I'll find something like that. It's live, and
Yeah,
really, study what they're doing and try to learn from that.
I love that. My thing when it came to when I started voice lessons, I do sing as well. I haven't talked about that at all, but I love singing. I've always been a singer. I had a voice instructor. He was really like to the point on things, but he would always hear something in my voice and then he'd be like, wait a second, whatever we're working on, fuck that. Let's move on to this. This is more important because I feel like you're going to capture it better. And so I actually talked about it on another podcast. We went from a song from, I think, The Music Man, and we heard one part and I was just like, hey, that kind of reminds me of Blue Shadows from the Three Amigos. And he's like, dude, that's the song you need to do, not this crap. So he's like, let's put that on and see how you roll with it. And it was like you get in that comfort zone where you expand your voice more because not only do you already know the song, but you're like playing around with how it can be yours. Because when you cover it, you want to match as close as you can to the regular melody, but you want to have it with your voice. Otherwise, you're just, what can I say? You are an improviser? No, that's not a word. Hold on. Impersonator. There we go. An
Yeah, okay.
impersonation of music, that's copyright. We don't want to do that. So I think that using all of me out of all things is a wonderful vocal exercise. I didn't even think about it. As you were talking, I was thinking about the chorus and how it could actually be a perfect warm up for your voice.
Yeah.
Depending on your range, you start low and you just sing the chorus, and then you go up and down. Dun, dun,
Yeah.
dun, dun, like
Yeah.
it really fits with how your voice can expand in its range and how you can really build that confidence over time. And you're at the stage where you're already putting out tons of music all the time. You're already writing all the time. So you're constantly using that talent that you have. You're expanding on it because you're always practicing. Practice makes permanent and perfect. And so I think that you'll have more perspective than I do on this. As a singer, is there a song where you're like, I really wish I could sing along with that in the car, but I can't hit that note?
Yeah. Uh, I love Pavarotti. He's an opera singer.
One of the best.
Yeah, Nessun Dorme. It's a classic Italian song he sings. Um, you know, I'd love to. It's kind of one of those things. Like, if I adjust the key, pretty much most songs I can sing. I have the total range. I just change the key from this key to my key, and I can sing most of them. Um, you know, uh, but I'd love to learn more of that operatic tone. I can sort of do a teeny bit of it, but not enough. And so I'd love to be able to do that.
Without the fake frog voice, right? That
Yeah,
we
when
all put.
yeah, you lower your larynx. Yeah, exactly that thing. Yeah,
Put your tongue all the way up in your
yeah,
keel.
yeah,
My favorite vocalist, I have him next to me here. He is Josh Groban. Actually, he got his
yeah,
signature
yeah,
for
yeah. I
this
love.
specific thing. But he has, one of the most famous songs of all time, "You Raise Me Up," and I
Yeah,
cannot sing it. I
I
cannot
love.
sing. I can
Yeah,
sing the low part, but when it gets to that high part, like you said, you shoot that falsetto, head voice all the way, and you're like, nailed it. But then you hear yourself on a recording, and you're just like, dang, I wish I had more power behind that. Just wish I had that voice the whole time.
yeah. Mary, did you know? I love his version of that too. Yeah,
So
it's
beautiful.
yeah, so amazing. Yeah. Um, yeah, I would probably, my vocal range is probably pretty close to Josh Groban. I don't have to change the keys of his songs when I sing them. So I'm not sure I think he's a baritone. That's what he's classified as.
Yeah,
Um,
he's definitely in that higher baritone, but
yeah,
he's able to hit the
yeah,
note, like you said, the
yeah,
C5. He can hit that. He just hits it with that operatic
yeah,
vibrato that is so powerful. And if you've never
yeah,
seen him do it live, it's even better.
yeah,
It's like, dude, that's not even a recording. That's a real man with a real voice. Like, how
yeah,
is that possible? AI will be studying Josh Groban when it comes to those fake opera covers. They'll just be like, Josh Groban, everything. That's it.
yeah, yeah. He's amazing. I love his music. Love his
Wonderful.
voice. Yeah.
Who is your favorite artist currently or from the past?
Um, you know, the Red Clay Strays are on the top of my list of bands. If you haven't listened to those guys, they're kind of like a gospel rock or southern rock band out of Mobile, and they just became famous this year. I think they won some awards in the country music category. I don't think about them as country, but they're pretty awesome. They don't write about typical country things. So they
Not
have some
beer?
very introspective songs, which I love. And then Stephen Wilson Jr. is another one that I've been admiring. He's very unique. His voice, his approach, the way he writes lyrics, the tone of the guitar he uses. If you haven't checked him out, you should. He's got some amazing tracks out. So those are probably the two that are my kind of new music. Um, Benson Boone, I like Beautiful Things, and I like some of his other songs as well. So good, quite a few that are on the new playlist for me.
Nice, nice. I like that you pick new artists too. That makes me happy
Yeah,
because some people are like so dead set on like, I only listen to Queen and no one will ever be Queen. And I'm like, hey, I'm with you there, but also there's so many great artists out there. There's so many new people that have this this passion that you want to hear more of. And if you don't talk about them and you only talk about the guys that have already been there and did that, it's like, they're not getting a spot for this spotlight. There's their spot in the spotlight. My whole thing with new music is I want to be proven wrong. I want to go into an artist that I think is going to be complete garbage. I've heard one song or two songs on the radio and I'm like, no, never, not going to listen to this. And I listen to the first three songs on the album and I go, what is this? Why is this so good? Like it happened to me all the time when I listen to pop music, especially these days. I'm like, oh, not this song again. It always plays on the radio at my hotel. And I'm like, oh, there it is again. And then I listen to the fully produced version in my ears. And I'm like, oh, I understand why this is a hit. This is so good. So I always want to be proven wrong. In that case, I will always say, you have to do something that's going to surprise me that I will never see coming. And that goes to Hardy currently. I'm going to be seeing Bill Murray.
Hardy wrote, he co-writes with Steven Wilson Jr.
Really?
So you got to listen to their song. They did a cover together of Steven Wilson's song. It's called "I Am My Father's Son."
Okay.
So go find it on YouTube. And Hardy and he are singing that together. Yeah.
Wonderful.
And then Larry Fleet and Morgan Wallen sang "Where I Find God," which is a Larry Fleet song. And that, if you find that one on YouTube, that's another phenomenal vocal performance by both of those guys.
Oh my gosh. Thank you for both of those tracks, which I will definitely take note of and watch and listen to right now. Go check it out, Dan, in the future when you're editing this.
Yeah.
But my whole thing is I couldn't ever dream of an artist that sounds like Bro Country being impressive in any way. Like I was like, new Florida Georgia Line, new Chris, whatever. I'm like, they're always Chris and they're always talking about dirt and beer and everything. And I don't want to hear this. And so Hardy had his album, The Mockingbird and the Crow. And the first time that I listened to it, I was 4 tracks in. I was like, definitely like 3, maybe like a 4 out of 10. All right, it's the same thing I've heard a billion times. And then I get to the title track, which combines rock elements. And I was like, what is this? And then it like goes into some, I guess, rap core, I guess you could say, like old school Kid Rock type of delivery on the vocals. And I was like, and he's swearing, like, what is this? And it kept going. And each track got heavier and heavier. And he had a Day to Remember's vocalist on one of the tracks. And I was like, am I going to take this 4 and make it a 10 out of 10? Like, I've never been so impressed and shocked. It was just a random choice of listening because I was like, I got to hear the new stuff. Whatever came out this week or this month, I was like, I got to see it. And I literally bought the album right after I finished it. I was like, this is it. Like, I need something like that. So right now I'm currently obsessed with Bill Murray. Didn't know this, but he's been a huge producer in all types of music. I was talking about Seraphim before. All of their music before their main producer now was made by or produced by the guy known as Bill Murray, Johnny Frank, who came from a bunch of other metal bands. But Johnny also saw that Hardy did his thing with adding hard riffs to country music. And so then Bill Murray did 2 albums now that have been country core, they call it. And I'm just like all about this. Like, I'm like, please keep this going. Like, I'm all about like genre mending or mixing. And I always found it interesting to be expecting one thing and then get served something that's even better because it combines something that you already love or maybe hate and then makes it sound good. And it's like, yeah, that's what I want to have.
Yeah, keep your mind open, man. I think that's cool. And I think there's so many, there's so much new music coming out now. I think you're right. Yeah, I just enjoy, exploring, all the new. And I find every week I find an artist that I like, that's new from, my searches. And it's an amazing time we live in.
Indeed it is. And it is expensive as well.
For sure.
I wish these streaming services were all free and didn't have ads. It would be so great. Oh, wait, that was a thing, and that was 2008.
Yeah.
But no, I'm really happy that we could discuss some new music because you have some new music on the way. Your album is coming out in October. Do we have a release date on that, or is it just October in general?
Yeah, it's October in general, like mid-October.
Mid-October.
So
My
yeah.
birthday is October 10th. I'm not telling you
Hey,
what to do.
hey now.
I'm just saying.
Birthday present for Dan.
Birthday present for
Uh,
Dan.
yeah,
33 and a brand
yeah,
new album from Mark
yeah,
Winters.
yeah. That'd be cool. Yeah, it's I have a few more tracks that are singles that are releasing. Um, yeah, I just released All in the Rhythm maybe 3 weeks ago now, and then I have another song coming out here. I think in another 4 weeks, and it's titled "Can I Rise?" It's about um, genetic. Are we a product of genetics or effort and opportunity in this world? And can you rise above your genetics and be the person you want to be? So that's coming out here next, and um, then I have a song called Into the Flow, which is about kind of, being in the moment, those special times where you've just lost yourself in a moment and you're your best you, and you're connecting with everyone around you, and you're transcending your mortal coils in this space that I think about as sort of being in the flow. Um, and then the album releases with a track called Triangulation,
Which I
which is the
heard on the Chris and Mike show, which I
yeah.
will give them a shout out. Great conversation you had with them. Triangulation. Tell me, Mr. Math, why triangulation?
I see the world a lot as a scientist, and I interpret it with my poetic mind, I guess. And so, triangulation, I wrote it because it was sort of when I was a teenager, I wanted to ask a girl out to dance. We were at a dance, and I wanted to ask her to go on the dance floor with me and dance. I was, I was I remember vividly sort of looking at her and looking where I was, and then looking at this other person that I wanted to avoid. And so I was sort of in this, triangulation of figuring out how to navigate to her through all the other people, and then B, um, how to get the courage up to ask her. And so the song is the journey of me, you know, on the approach, right, and trying to get the words out to ask her out. And so it's just a fun song. It's got this really cool different, like another song I wrote that has a little bit of a different element to it. It's called The Speed of Light.
Mhm.
It's about relativity and Einstein, and how your perspective shifts in Einsteinian terms. Like, he wrote the theory of relativity from an inspiration of riding a bike. If you're riding a bike, you see the world differently than if someone's standing watching you ride by. Your perspectives of speed and change and motion are different. And so I wrote The Speed of Light about that feeling, and about feeling like I was sort of stuck in a grind, but I was actually making progress, because if you look at the right perspective, you could see it. But it has a polyrhythm in it, right? And because there's two perspectives, it's got two rhythms in it, and they intersect. And
Ooh,
so it's got this cool element to it. Well, triangulation has something cool like that too. It's got a bit of a different rhythmic vibe to it, but it's still close enough to mainstream that people probably won't notice it as much. But if you really listen to it, it's got a little bit of that difference in it too.
I love how much detail you put into your stuff, man. Like, you have super passion for everything you create, obviously.
Yeah.
But the whole thing of like talking about triangulating, how to ask a girl to dance with you sounds so funny. In my mind, I always think of like movies and TV shows where they have this one kid that like has this math brain, and all he sees is formulas just pop up everywhere. And like, kind of like the Matrix, right? Like Neo opening his eyes up to the reality of like what is actually in front of him, and then being able to see codes. I feel like that's how you like also envision life, is like you have two different
Yes.
perspectives. And so you pick that and you're like, oh, this is how I see it, and let me try to put that in a poetic way. And I love that music is your outlet for that, because explaining this to somebody and not sounding insane, be like, I wanted to ask that girl out, but see, X was on this side, Y was over here. Here I was ready to
See?
go across to Y, and I couldn't make it without coming into X, so I had to make sure that I had a way around X. So it was
Yes, that's
the
my world
distance.
exactly. With the little equations and everything popping up. That's me. Hello.
Well, that's great. It's good to have a person that actually sees all the formulas in the incredible area of aerospace engineering. With that, I will say, are you a big fan of like pilots and flying and all that kind of stuff, or is it more of just the science behind how everything moves and like the Wright brothers' creation of the first airplane? I guess it wouldn't be the first, but many successful airplanes that fell and then theirs succeeded.
Yeah, I'd say both. I love understand. I learned, I think I have an affinity for math and science, but I love learning about the way the world works so I can live in it better. And so I'm a pilot. I love, you know, racing motorcycles and going fast in general. And so just understanding how objects move through the air is interesting to me on a visceral level, right? Hey, I'm doing the thing. I'm snowboarding, what angle should I be, adjusting my board to on what kind of a hill or what kind of snow conditions. That's important as well as just I love the math and science of it in general and learning about it.
Yeah. And by the way, you talked about two other things with the other two songs that you discussed as well. Things that you had already said. You said you're at your highest moment. You're like at the greatest moment of your life. And you also have a song that connects to that. And then your first song, of course, as well, was I think athletic. You were talking about like having that drive and having that overall perspective of like pushing yourself harder. You have this adrenaline rush in you, like you're an adrenaline jockey when it comes to performing. You're at your absolute highest, and I'm like, oh, and you have a song for that too. Like you literally should just call the album "Me." That's it. Just for you, of
All
course,
my
not for
experiences,
me.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's what I write about, what I'm feeling for sure.
Yeah, it'd be like not acoustic me.
Yes.
But not acoustic, and then me. Oh my gosh! Sorry, I'm not going to tell you what to do. You're
Yeah.
the
No,
mastermind
no.
behind all of it. But I do find it interesting. I can always read a conversation and how things flow, and there's so many little parts of it where I'm like, he already said that, and the way that he just added to it without realizing it, I'm like, freaking amazing. This conversation is flowing so perfectly as it always does. But like the way that you've already brought up so many things that I'm just like, oh, that adds to that, and you didn't even notice it. I was like, yes, this is wonderful. I like love it. You will see it when you re-listen or re-watch this one. You'll be like, oh, I see why Dan brought that up there. it'll be
Okay.
it'll be a eureka kind of moment because I'll be like, he's talking about his wife again. He's talking about this, but then he's also talking about the dance thing, and I'm like, does he know that the final destination, which is a terrible term for that, is always to be the most happy. Like that's the goal for everything. Even when you have all of the equations in front of you, your overall goal is to just have that person that you want to be with. Like your overall goal is the one thing you can accomplish. Like it's an accomplishment, and it's also something that is just extraordinary to you. And I love that. I love that it fits in every aspect of who you are. And as a creator, it's super, super awesome to look forward to seeing what you're going to come up with in the future.
Well, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm on the ride for sure, and I'm having a great time, and I'm enjoying sharing that positive energy with everybody who's out on the road with me for sure.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And the positivity comes with, hardship. Things happen in our lives that we as optimists can't control. One of those things is unfortunately something that you discussed on Chris and Mike's show. And I recommend everybody go and check that out because you've already discussed it. I'm not going to go deeper into it, but I'll say Let It Rain is a song I need to listen to and I need to really take in. So I might listen to it a couple more times. So if you see a random streaming number jump above like 1,000, maybe 17,000 or something like that, you can just know it's me crying
It's,
and realizing that I should have been listening more than I was originally as the critic that I am. I always love to hear that story and connect to that person and the way that you explained it and the way that you're still coping with it is tremendous, man. You're a really good person, and of course, you see the best in people, and so that is something that you really won't connect that feeling to you. Then they said, as they should, it's a blessing that you haven't had that happen. Like that is something that doesn't triangulate in your mind. It doesn't correlate to how you're thinking, because it shouldn't. It's personally something that other people and their demons and their life, as they said in that episode. Once again, please guys, just go and check it out. I loved it so much. I'm gonna put it in the links. It's gonna be amazing. But like the way they said, like, it's that empathy that you learn, that you can help others. I always have talked people through really hard times, and then I tell people, like, you have more experience, you have more of this journey that you didn't know was going to happen to you. It's a hardship right now, but later on it's going to be an amazing guide for somebody else dealing with that same situation, and you'll have the right things to say to them. You just got to be here for it. And they always are like, whoa, like that's the mic drop
Hmm.
moment. And I always tell them, I'm like, if you think that's crazy, just think about this. I've never thought that. This is not my brain. This is somebody else speaking through me, whether you believe it's God or some higher power or whatever. Could be a flying spaghetti monster for all I care. This is the words that I want you to hear, is that you need to be here and you need to help others because you're an amazing person. And I want everyone to feel that way. And that's how I live my life, man. Like I see the best in people. You see the best in people, and we try to give that overall, like, yeah, you could do it. But when it comes to those moments where people couldn't go through with whatever they were planning, or deal with those moments of stress and hardship and unfortunate loss, it's like we still have to be in that mindset of, you know I can't really relate on a 100% level, but I can be there for you. I can lift you up at your lowest moments. And so that's what I think that I will capture when I listen to this song. I'll hear all sides, and then I'll probably re-listen to that episode again, because just the way that you explained it, and the way you guys moved from one topic to another with that, I was like, he's not avoiding it. He's already moved on, even though the cope is still happening. You've already moved on to the point of, I want to think of this in the best way, which is a wonderful thing to have. It's really rough. And so the topic, of course, was discussed as self harm and suicide. Very sad.
Yeah. Yeah. It's I try to sing it every show. It's the hardest song for me to sing. But I know there are other people that are out there going through the situation, and so that's kind of it's just a part of what I like, what I try to do. I try to share, you know, that song just because I know it's gonna touch other people.
Yeah. And some people probably come up to you after and are like, hey,
Mm,
thank you. Like,
yeah,
thanks for having the guts and the heart to do this for tonight. I know it's got to be rough on you, but
yeah,
having that gave me this perspective. And then they go on and then they share it with others, and you're making a tremendous like I always say, staple, that you're making a tremendous impact on the world, even in little people along the way. Like, everyone's going to be talking about what your music does, what your story does, what you as a person do. And it's not about you. In your mind, you're not even thinking about yourself. You're just like, what can I do next? How can I create something that's going to be really cool? And what can I mix? And I love that. Like, you're a modest person. You're not the superstar that a lot of people try to be when they jump into music. You're like, I just love music. It's a wonderful part of me that, along with math and science, just works. And that's why when you told me, like, what you do, I was like, oh my gosh, you're perfect for the show. I can't wait to talk with you. And here we are.
yeah, for sure. A lot of it's a fun journey, man. I'm excited to be out on it.
Yeah, and you deserve everything that you're going to have in the future, with all of the numbers going up, and with all the people that will continue to join you at your shows. I think it's going to be great to see your rise as an artist and as a creator. I think that you'll have a lot more of an impact than a lot of people that are following the same formula and just doing the same marketing schemes. It's like, listen, we love the song. It was nice, but you've played it 15 times on every post. We don't really love it anymore. You gotta move on to another song. I've had that
Yep.
forced marketing all down my throat on Instagram. I'm like swiping. I'm like, oh, there it is again. That same part. Oh, it's there again. Oh my gosh, it's
Uh,
still there.
yep.
Your songs mean more to me, man. And listening to a discography always gives me a better perspective. What is your personal favorite album that you've made?
Oh, I can't say that Uh, Probably my acoustic me. I just enjoyed making that one. It was so everything just so raw in there. It was the first set of music that Michael and I produced together, and it just yeah, just there's a special part of that album that will just always be a favorite of mine, I think, just because of the way it got all put together and the fact that it's it's filled with live acoustic energy, you know?
Yeah, and a duet, which is
Yeah.
like so unique and at the same time so familiar in many ways to a lot of other artists. Like you find that perfect partner. Like if I go through country, I'll be like, okay, what's a song that impacts everybody that as soon as I bring it up, no one can unthink about it. And unfortunately, it's one of the saddest songs, but that's the Brad Paisley and Alison Krauss duet on oh wow, it's amazing. I forgot the song title. Isn't that amazing? um, Whiskey Lullaby. Have you
Okay. I
heard that
think I've
one?
heard that one. No, no,
You've
I
never
haven't heard
heard
that
it?
one.
Okay.
No.
Well, that's good. I'll give you something to discover then.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
it's one of the saddest songs. It's obviously about drinking and coping, but it's really a way that they write it and a way that they sing it. And you love Brad Paisley or you love Alison Krauss, and you're like, boy, I love these voices, but how would they sound together? And it is magic. And that's exactly what you did with Roxette. I was just like, what is this? Who is this? How did he not introduce her earlier? And it was literally in your lifespan. You were like, I'm just going to give a shot to somebody. And like you said, you vibed, and she was down to make some music that you've already, recorded before, make it a little bit more personal to you, add some harmony, add a cover on there. And it's like, wow, this is something really fun. And I also agree. I think that Acoustic Me is your best work, and it, like you said, it captures that vibe that you want to get when you're live. And if somebody can't make it to a show, just send them the album. I promise you're gonna feel all the feelings. It's so good, and the mixing is tremendous, especially in the guitar. I love it. It's so warm. And I was listening to it with full surround sound in the car with perfect speakers. I was like, yes, this is music, man.
Thank you. Thank you, Dan. That's very, very sweet to hear.
Of course, Mark. For the final part of this, I just want to ask some fun questions here. So you said you're not a movie guy. Do you like sports outside of the ones that you've participated in?
Ooh, I like to do the sport. I'm not really a watcher of sports.
Okay,
So if you're gonna ask me about doing a sport, I'm all down for that. But if it's watching, I don't know.
not your fave.
No.
All right. You're always on the road. Where is one of your favorite places to go and get food? Like, what is the food that you usually would be like, I can't believe this is in town. I have to go.
Um, that's a toss up. Black Bear Diner is just uh they have the best diner food. I don't know. I love there's giant biscuits and like breakfast for lunch is just amazing.
Home
So
away
yeah, it's
from
got to be
home for
Black
you.
Bear Diner. Yeah.
Blackbird Diner. Where can I find it? Is it only in Texas or?
No, they're regional. I mean, I want to say I think they started in California. I mean, I'm going to guess they have locations in maybe 30 or 40 states. I'll see them when I'm on tour for sure in more than just,
Okay.
one or two states.
We'll move out of the way, Cracker Barrel. It's time for Black Bear Diner.
You know it, man.
Yeah, because I see Cracker Barrels every time that we're in a different state. We always go down to Tennessee for Dollywood. Well, we did that before the pandemic. And I would always see those, and I was like, "Oh, there we go. There's another one, and another one, and another one." And then we went to this place called Fazoli's, and I was like, "Fast food, Italian fast food," and it's not Olive Garden, and it's like you just take it and eat it like it's a hamburger, but it's a pasta bowl. Like this is blowing my mind. How does that exist? When it comes to me, I always look for familiar flavor, but I'm always still like I don't want McDonald's. McDonald's you can have at any time. It's always there. It's always going to be there. There's like so many of them. They're everywhere. But when it comes to like a flavor that I get in the Midwest, I still got to go Culver's, even though they're probably the most overrated one from the Wisconsin people. I think it is truly like the perfect cheese. And anytime I'm driving by, I'm like, I gotta go just to check it out. If they make the curds right, I'm a happy guy. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah.
All right, man. So, for the final question for everything, for all your fans that are listening right now, if they have a chance to have a conversation with you and they could get one piece of advice, what would you give to that fan that went out and saw you in a place that they'd never been before, and they're just like, I love your music on Spotify or Apple Music, or I found you through YouTube? What would you say to them to lift their spirits?
Um, you know, I would say, um, uh, you know, there's a way that, you know, we can look at each other to see the best of each other. And I would just invite them to see themselves in that light and to see, you know, a friend of theirs in that light. I actually have a song, I haven't released it. It's called Perfect Light. It's about finding just the right lighting to see the very best of Media Man Dan or the person that I'm hanging out with. What is the best of them and how can I tease that out? I would say, you know, if you're coming to a show, hopefully you've caught some extra, you know, protons from me. I'm throwing out the extra positive energy. I would invite you to, you know, to take those out and share them with your neighbors in a practical way. Like, what's something kind I can do today, or something compassionate, or what's a way that I can change the way I'm viewing people in my life or myself, that might be a little warmer, right? A little more upbeat or a little more positive. That would be my call to action.
Wow. Out of all things, I was vibing with what you were saying in the beginning. I was like, oh, how wonderful. It's going to be like enemies to friends and, you know, friends to neighbors. And it's like, oh, this is great. But then you went with the internal idea of like how we see ourselves. We always want to see the best of other people, but we don't look at ourselves in that way. And that is truly powerful. Uh, Wonderful, wonderful message to have for everybody. Yeah, see the best in everyone, and just shine your light around everyone, and hopefully they will resonate with the same and share theirs along the way. It's beautiful. It's just beautiful. Happy to also have that little song mentioned there. That's so cool to know any inside information. I really appreciate you with all your honesty and all your overall like positivity, but also just your humanity that you bring to these, you know, chats and to your performance and everything. It's like you're a genuine performer but also a genuine person, and I think that, you know, you're authentic in a way that it doesn't seem like you have to find out what's going to fit, like you were talking about before. You're like, what genre would I consider myself? You're like, I don't even care. Like, you're like, it could be folk pop, folk rock, it's folk in general, and like spoken word poetry, you know, it's something like that. So I guess I do have one more question for you. Are you writing a book?
No, I've never written a book, Dan.
Okay, well, maybe
I
the next
think,
part.
yeah, maybe that'd be fun to do in the future for sure.
When you turn 30, when you know,
Yeah,
mentally.
that's it.
You got the 25, it's the music thing. Then you're like, I want to be an author all of a sudden. And then your wife is like, let's make it happen. They got the
Yeah,
dreams going.
she would definitely say that for sure.
I love it. One of my favorite books of all time is a positive story about a man who has this super athletic tone, but also has this super competitive edge to him. And he thinks that he runs the world until one man comes into his random job and says, you don't know anything, kid. I'm going to show you the truth. And the moment that happens, the kid's like, yeah, whatever, man. And then he takes him out of the body and he has him soar over the entire world. This is all in the book, and see the reality of every situation, and that selfishness and that competitive edge that he had that was used for the wrong things, he starts using for the right things. And it's called Way of the Peaceful Warrior by Dan Millman. Have you ever read this book?
I have not. I need to though, sounds
I
like.
would highly recommend. I think there's an audio version. I have three copies of it. I think I have like a picture copy and everything. But the first thing that I thought of when you told me that you were into mathematics and using that to create music and things like that as well, I was like, oh, he's using formulas. There's an entire book um, from Dan Millman that is all about numbers. It's not like numerology, like the spiritual thing, but it's more of like what the numbers mean to him and speaking in code to understand his purpose in life. And it's so complex. I think you'd love it.
I'm gonna check it out, man. You've given me a couple of bits of homework now.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I love giving homework to people that seem like they're teaching me in school right now. Be like, serve it back to you. There you go.
It's all good, man. It's all good. I'm curious, man. I love learning for sure.
Love it, love it. Yeah, you have that glee for it. I wish I had that same thing. If I had less ADHD and more of I could say overall fun perspective. My fiance is a teacher, and the way that she tells me that she teaches and uses these kids like she can read each child in the room as like the personality that they bring, the level of education and intellect and everything is on the same thing, but she can like read what that would fit best with, like what group they would fit best with. And it's not just like, okay, well, today we're supposed to be in small groups, so you there, you there, you there. She like feels like what these kids are going to be best in and tries to get them in their comfort zone or out of their comfort zone. And I always tell her, I'm like, I wish I had a teacher like you. Like, oh
Mm,
my gosh, if they could have just seen like I was so different, and it wasn't because I was the weirdo, it was because I didn't have that group that you could see I obviously should be fitting into, or maybe you should have put me out of my comfort zone more often. Like it's just something that
yeah.
I'm like really happy that she has brought to the next generation, and I can't wait to see any of those kids become like really successful in the future, end up musicians that like yourself, or marketers, or aerospace dynamic, brilliant people. And they come from the little things of that pressure on themselves being taken off and being told like, you're pretty freaking awesome, and I hope that you see it in yourself in the future. And that's what I think you should hear all the time, my friend.
Yeah, I agree, man. It sounds like a wonderful person, your fiance.
Oh, she's amazing. Absolutely angel of my life. Like you can't make this woman upset for too long. She is like a Disney princess. She's like you ever seen the movie Enchanted?
Yeah.
So when Giselle goes to New York and she's like, I'm angry. I'm angry. And like she has this like self-revelation of like she doesn't know what anger is. So then she's like, I'm angry. And she just like taps him on the chest, and he's like, hey. And then she just stops and she just takes in how she has that feeling that she barely touches. And it's just like, I don't know how to work with this. It's like breaking out of her character that she's always been in. That's my fiance. She cannot hold it. She cannot keep it that way. Me and her, with all of the arguments and everything like that, all the makeup is always the best. Like we always have these conversations, these little jokes that we can just bring light into the room. Like you said, like with your wife, you guys will have those little moments that you've had that you can only share with her. And so those things that make you feel so loved and so cared for and so, supported, both of you. It's a mutual thing, and it's exactly what my fiance brings, man. It's she's just amazing. And Allison, I love you, and I can't wait to marry you. We will work on that. I got to get the place. That'll hopefully be sometime this summer. I'm working on finding an apartment.
Well, sweet. It's been an amazing conversation today, Dan, for sure, man.
I appreciate you for being here, and I agree. It is truly an amazing conversation. All those times that I tripped over myself, I was like, "What am I sweating about this for?" Like this guy, he's not judging me. He just here's
Yeah,
a man that just wants to help others, feel like
yeah.
superstars. And I hope you felt like a superstar today, man, because that's what you are to me.
Thank you so much, Dan. You're so kind. You're such a great soul in this world. I really appreciate getting a chance to chat with you.
Absolutely, sir. And everybody, if you have not already checked it out, go to the description right down below. All of his links in bio and super professionalism will be down there. If you had a really fun time with this conversation and you wanted to see more, please let us know in the comments that you want to have him back on. I'd be happy to get Mark on anytime. I would love to get some live footage of you as well, sir, to make sure that everybody can see that. I don't know how you feel about recording, because I know some people are like, oh, that kind of ruins the whole thing because you're holding your phone. But I promise I'll make it very nonchalant, just like on the chest. Something that can really capture the vibe of who you are as an artist. And also with everybody that is listening right now, I hope that you support this man in every way that you can. Not just streaming, but trying to find merchandise. If you have any merchandise, Mark, how do we find that?
Yeah, you can find all that at markwintersmusic.com. And there's a tab for my tour and a tab for merch. If you want to join the positive vibe tribe, my email list is down there too. You can join the fun for the email list, and I'll share some newer songs and some stories from the road there.
Positive Vibe Tribe. I love that. Like, who came up with that title? Was that you?
Yeah.
Heck yeah, man. That's what I'm talking about. I was like, it was probably a fan or something. No, it was the genius himself.
I don't know about that, but it's fun for sure.
Amazing, amazing. Well, yes, guys, he is a positive vibe. That's why we want to have him on in the future. Mark, we want to see you succeed in every way that we can. However, I understand as you get bigger and bigger and become like newsworthy and everything, that you will probably have those moments where it's like I have to contact a couple of agents and a manager to get to you. But I'll try to do my best to make sure that happens.
You got my email, Dan, for sure, man. So don't
Okay.
worry about that.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right, guys, thanks again for watching another amazing interview. I hope you had a great time with this. Leave a like on the video if you're watching it on YouTube. Feel free to share it with anybody. This is mostly family friendly. I can probably just beep the F word that I threw in. And I hope you guys have an amazing day. Have all the positive vibes come towards you as Mark brings you the best. Listen to all of his music and stay safe out there. Peace.